Forget. All right. Yes. Perfect. Your biggest enemy is going to be your emotions, right? Can everyone agree that your biggest enemy is emotions when you're trading? That's the biggest, and I would say that's probably the only enemy when it comes to trading because that defines your discipline and stuff like that. But your biggest enemy is emotions. Now, again, that's the biggest obstacle when it comes to trading. So, again, what I say is we have to figure out what's the biggest obstacle, what's our biggest weakness when it comes to trading, because that would actually define us as a trader, right? If we can control our weaknesses, then we can, have that and improve our strengths. So that is the biggest thing. And, a lot of traders allow emotions to defy yourself, right? How many people allow emotions to defy themselves? Where they'll get out 5% gains and then the trade went up 50%, or you got out way too late because you were emotional and didn't want to take a loss. How many people are allowing emotions to defy themselves as a trader? Probably a ton of you guys. I know I was when I first got started. I wasn't just born and I wasn't this excellent trader. Like, we all came from basically the same place when it comes to trading. Maybe not the same place like in life, but like in trading, we pretty much went through the same stuff for the most part. And this is why I can do lessons, because I kind of relate to when you guys first started. Just because, this is what I had to do. So I'm just basically just saying it from experience. Like, this honestly, with the emotion stuff like that, this should be I'm trying to make this your only lesson, to where you watch this lesson and you'll be good to go, right? You'll watch this lesson and this will be your last time ever having to deal with being emotional, right? Like, you'll be able to conquer this. You'll be good to go. Your emotions will not get the best of you. But again, as traders, we got to realize that it's really not that easy, right? Trading in general, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? Everyone would be rich. Everyone, would day trade. But it's not easy, right? And this is the whole reason why a lot of people fail. There's 90% of people that fail. Like 85 to 90% of day traders fail. And there's a reason for it, because they got emotional, right? They quit. So, in order to become a day trader, you got to become a winner as well. And I think trading in general relates to your life, right? Like, I could probably, from most of you guys, just having a conversation with you guys, I can probably predict where you're going wrong when you're trading, right? Because I could tell if you're emotional. I could tell if you're too hesitant or something along those lines, right? And it's pretty easy to tell. But this is why we're here, right? This is why we're, working on our weaknesses. And honestly, right, we just got to be able to conquer these emotions. And I'm going to go over that today as well. And if you guys are watching this later on, you guys aren't in the lesson, get in, right? You got to be ready. Have a notebook, whatever you need to do, right? But again, it doesn't matter how you remind yourself to not be emotional, right? I know someone literally took a screenshot of their computer and they had like 14 different sticky notes all across their desk saying, do not get out because of emotions. Do not hesitate. Like that, there's a guy out there, I don't know his name on Discord, but he DM'd me on Instagram, and he had like 14, I swear it was 14 different sticky notes of just, do not be emotional, do not get out, and all his weaknesses, so he could remind himself what not to do next time he's in a trade. Which I think is pretty neat and cool, because if you're reminding yourself your biggest weaknesses, right, then you'll be able to, I would say, manage it a little bit better. Was that you? Did you send me the 14 sticky notes? Dude, it was wild. It's like 14 sticky notes, like all across. I don't even know how he saw his computers. Dude, that's what I'm saying. You got to keep reminding yourself of your weaknesses so you can improve. It's crazy to where, like, how much that helps you in a way, just putting your biggest weakness in front of you, right? Just facing it. And basically, that just reminds you of what you're doing wrong. Like, facing your fears. That's the biggest thing. And I probably should, name this lesson, Face Your Fears, because you got to face your fears and conquer it. If you don't face your emotions, if you don't face that, you're not going to be able to conquer trading, right? Emotions is your biggest downfall from when you're trading. So if you can't conquer that and you can't define that and face that and endure that, you're not going to be a great trader at all, right? You might be a little bit of a great trader, you might get some some levels out there, right? You might have a great watch list and stuff like that, but in reality, when emotions is going to be your biggest thing, right? If you can't control your emotions, and I know I keep saying this, but it's for a reason, because you're going to fail if you do not know how to control your emotions. Emotions is going to be your biggest factor when it comes to whether or not you're a profitable trader, or if you're just an average trader that just takes losses and takes wins and takes losses. Like, you're not a profitable trader if you can't control your emotions, right? So again, this is like what you want to do in life, right? It's not what I think you're going to do in life. Like, you have to know what you want to do in life, right? If you want to become a failure, if you want to become a quitter, then keep doing exactly what you're doing. But if you want to become a successful trader, you got to change it up a little bit, because there's so many stuff out there that, will define you as a trader, and do not let emotions be one of them, right? You cannot let emotions take over your journey to become a successful trader, right? If you have to become a successful trader and this is what's blocking you right now, it's going to be emotions, right? If you know that emotions is going to be your biggest, I would say, weak point in order to become a successful day trader, why wouldn't you work on that, right? You literally have to face your emotions. You got to face your biggest weakness, right? If you do not face that, it will define your entire portfolio to the point where you will fail, right? This isn't some emotions will kill you in the end if you don't know how to tame it, right? So this is where risk management and a plan and a vision, every single time you're in a trade, you need to have a plan and a vision, right? That will help you get started on not having emotions when you're in trades, right? If you have a plan and you have a vision, for example, right? Let's say, so I was swinging SPY and then I had NVIDIA puts today. My plan, my vision was my price target, right? The reason why I have a price target is not because I think it might go there. Yes, I do think it's going to go there, but does it have to go there? No, but this gives me I would say a vision, a plan, so I could hold it a little bit longer, right? And not let emotions take over my trading. Because if I have a price target at this point and I'm so far away from that, if nothing's telling me to get out, why am I going to get out here? Now, if I'm close to my price target and I see that it's starting to build up some support and it's starting to reverse a little bit, then I might get out. But if it's nowhere near my price target, if it's nowhere near my goal, and it's obviously comes to how you're trading in general, right? You don't want to get out for no reason, but you also want to get out at a good reason, right? If there is a reason to get out, then you get out. But if I'm solely getting out because of emotions, that is what's wrong with, price targets, I would say. I set a price target on SPY, which is around that 430. I got out at 434 just because I did see some support, right? I saw that it was coming down a little bit. I was going to be, I wanted to take profits at 434. I had a price target at 429.35, and it literally went to exactly that. But I got out here. Now, was it a little bit of emotions? Probably, right? But my emotions might be a little bit different than some of your guys' emotions, because if you guys got SPY puts, let's say here, you guys would have probably got out right there, right? How many people, if you got SPY puts right here, how many people would have got out right there? How many people would have got out in right here, that first candle coming down? So I know it's some of y'all. I know a lot of people that literally would just get out from right there, right? Just a small move. I've been swinging SPY puts since yesterday, and I took profits on this move right here. Now, could I squeezed out until my price target? Yes. But was it more controlled, right? Yes. I would say this is more of a controlled play, a controlled trade. Now, again, this is where I want you guys to be, because NVIDIA, same thing with NVIDIA, right? You're not going to be able to make 100% plays. You're not going to be able to make 30% plays. You're not going to be able to make 50% plays if you're not able to control emotions, right? Dude, I was up so much on NVIDIA today. And if I was any more emotional than I am in trades, now, obviously, everyone has emotions when you're in trades. There's no such thing as no emotions. But it's how you control yourself, and it's how disciplined you are when you do feel those emotions coming in, right? I was up, dude, when I hit that 40% mark, when I hit that 50% mark, when I hit the 100% mark, of course there's emotions coming into the trade, but is my mental stronger than my emotions? Yeah, right? This is why I'm able to hold it, right? I'm thinking about it, and if I start to feel that my emotions is starting to get the best of me, I'll literally just get up, or I'll just breathe a little bit, or I'll just look at something else for a second, right? And just assess what I'm doing with this trade. Now, this is where I have price targets for NVIDIA. I bought it. I literally think I bought this at the top. It was like very close. I bought it right here when it started reversing around that 240, which was, I would say, a perfect trade after all today. But that's not the point. I made a price target for myself, 235. I was not taking profits till it hits 235. The way that ran up, there is no way I was taking profits till it hit 235. Did not scale out whatsoever until 235. I'll literally screenshot my fills and stuff like that. There was no fills before 235. I had a plan and I executed it, right? We went up too fast, and then the FOMC meeting, right? Two things that factor in. I'm saying we're going down, right? If we don't go down, then it'll hit my stop and I'll be out and I'm wrong in the trade. But if I'm not wrong in this trade, 235 is my price target. Started taking some off here at 40%, right? Now, what I'm doing is I'm establishing another price target, right? I will get out once it goes to either break even on the contracts or goes to my next price target, right? My next price target was all the way down to 225, as I did get out a majority at that 235 push. So when we went to 235, I did get a lot of out. So I was able to establish a bigger price target. Now my price target, which is, I think today was insane because both my price targets hit, and it was literally the bottom of SPY and NVIDIA, which usually doesn't happen. Now my price target would have I would say my price target would be up to here or something like that. But I had a 225 level and a 235 level. Now when we went down to here, that's when I fully got out. Now this could have kept going, but my mental, right, my plan and my vision was I'm getting fully out at 225. That's my plan. That's my vision, right? I will be up a pretty good amount to where 225 will make it count. Now it'll be different when you have a price target or a plan or a goal and you got in here for puts and your price target was 238. What is that? You made 10% on the trade? Are you really happy with 10%? Now, you can be, but are you happy that you're emotional in that trade? Because there's no way you're setting your price target that low, right? Especially on a push like that. If your risk to reward is going to be there, 10%, right? You're going to make 10% on a big push like that. There is absolutely no way. And you got to be able to read this, right? Because 10% on a trade could be very good. And 10% on a trade could be very bad. You got to figure out what is, I would say, how to react to each stock, right? Is 10% on this trade good? Or is 10% on this trade bad? Was I getting too emotional? If I got out at 238 fully, that would be because of emotions. There was nothing telling me this thing was not going down, right? It was super aggressive. Nothing was telling me this was going up. So, again, this is where I set my price target. If it hits 235, I'll be out, right? And I'll start to scale, and just get it at like 80% out. Because this is my price target. Now, if it does want to keep continuing, this is why I leave some contracts, right? But, again, just having a price target in mind and having a vision to where you want this thing to go, that doesn't mean you have to scale out there. You could scale out a little bit before, but make sure it's not because of emotions, and make sure it's because there's an actual price action reason, I would say, right? If it's starting to reverse a little bit and you're starting to see some support, make sure it's not emotions, right? Make sure you're actually getting out because there was a certain point where you were like, there is, opposite buyers or opposite sellers coming in to where this thing could go the opposite way, right? This is where you start to feel yourself and you're like, listen, am I getting out because of emotions or am I getting out because there's actually a price action reason, right? So risk management and emotions are going to be probably your biggest weakness. That's the only, I would say that's execution right there. Execution is going to be your biggest weakness. Now, you could have the best levels in the world, and I know I say this 100% of the times, like every single day, but execution is going to be your biggest thing, right? You could have the best watch list in the world. You could have the best levels in the world, but if I made 50% on Netflix and you made 3% or 5%, you got a problem with execution, right? You have a big problem with execution. And it's just basically how I was able to tame them to become a profitable trader, right? If I knew that my weakness was risk management and emotions, and I knew that for every person that failed, that was also their biggest weakness, I'm 100% going to try and figure out what they were doing wrong and try and add that to my own trading. Oh, they got wiped out. Their account got wiped out. How am I not going to wipe out my account? Oh, a risk management, right? Or why are they barely making money? Oh, they got emotions in their trading, right? They got too emotional. I'm going to figure out how to not be emotional when I'm trading. Now, sometimes it is unavoidable. Like if you're up a decent amount, then you might start having some emotions, but there's always ways to eliminate that, right? And I don't even want to be exaggerating here, but your future literally depends on this. Like your future counts on this. I don't know if you guys realize that or not, but your future, not only of your portfolio, but of what you're going to do when you're older, or, it doesn't matter how old you are, but in like 3 years from now, this is going to matter if you're a profitable trader or if you're going to be in the same place you are now, right? Are you going to be in the same place you are now, or are you going to give up, or are you going to fail, or are you going to be 3 years from now a profitable trader, right? This is literally your future that counts on it. And, even it's just outside of trading as well, emotions and fear are going to be your biggest weakness, like outside of everything else. No matter if it's like a girl that rejected you outside of like the club or something like that, fear, a rejection, emotions, these are going to be your biggest factors, even outside of trading. This is why trading can relate to your personality. Trading can relate to your outside world, right? Just emotions and, what do you do with, how do you handle rejection, I would say. And figuring out your biggest weaknesses, not only in trading, but in real life, will help you a ton as, just yourself, right? Now, outside of trading, but it will help yourself. If you can figure out what weaknesses you have, you will be able to help yourself in, just in the real life as well. And so just think about that when you're trading. If my future counts on this, right? If I'm about to get out here, am I getting out here because of emotions? If I am, just think to yourself, listen, my future counts on this. If I get out here, what am I doing to myself? What am I doing to my future self, right? Am I getting out because of emotions? If I am, dude, I'm going to impact my future. I need to chill out, take a breather, do whatever I have to do to not get out because of emotions and alleviate that emotional aspect when it comes to trading. And, honestly, why are you getting out? Why am I getting out here? If it's emotions, is it because of, there's actual price action support coming in, or if there's sellers coming in the opposite direction, or is it because of emotions? Am I running away from my emotions, or am I going to face it and stick with my plan and stick with my vision, right? NVIDIA comes up a little bit. Am I going to get emotions, or am I going to face my emotions and be like, I got to stick to my plan, I got to stick to my vision. If it doesn't go above this, I'm still in. If it doesn't go below this, I'm still in. I got to stick to my plan and my vision. I'm not going to get out here because I'm emotional. I'm going to face my emotions and be like, NVIDIA, you are not going to control my trading. You're not going to control my future, right? I am going to stick with my plan. I'm going to stick with my vision in order to be a successful trader. And even if it's just that one trade alone, that one trade can define you, right? That one trade can make or break you as a trader, right? If you start to just hammer yourself, you're like, you know what? I am going to be unemotional, dude. I'm just going to keep hammering at it. My vision, my plan, if I just keep at it, NVIDIA, you coming up does not scare me, dude. I'm not going to be emotional because of this. You're barely moving up. Why am I going to be emotional, dude? Why am I going to be emotional on this trade? This is going to impact my future. I need to stick to my plan, and I need to stick to my vision. And even if it's not like that, like you're like, oh, I do this and this and this, it's literally, it could be the smallest thing ever, but it's still just that discipline, right? That repetitive discipline when it comes to, just keeping your emotions intact. And I know it's going to be hard at first. How many people have a hard time with emotions still? So I know there's still people that have hard times with emotions. How many people has hard times with emotions? I know it's a lot of y'all. Greed, emotions, whatever it is, it's going to be something emotionally driven, I would say. And you just got to have the discipline, right? You got to have the drive. And that's why I would say only about 10% of traders make it. Just because emotions, they let the emotions get the best of them. I would just say, like, emotion is going to be your biggest downfall. And if you focus on why that's going to be your biggest downfall and focus on what I can do to improve that, you will become a great trader, right? You're going to become the next profitable day trader if you just believe in yourself, right? if you're in NVIDIA and it starts to come up a little bit, but you're in puts, are you going to be confident in yourself? Are you going to believe in yourself? Or are you going to let NVIDIA coming up a little bit defy your trading strategy or defy yourself, right? You had a great setup. Why are you going to let a few buyers take away the fact that that trade was great, right? Why are you going to let a few buyers take away from your future self, even if it's by a little bit? If you had a plan, stick with it, right? If you had a vision for this trade, stick with it. And it's about believing in yourself, right? Just believe in yourself. And honestly, I would say with a puzzle, right? You know how a puzzle has a bunch of pieces? You literally could be one puzzle piece away from making your entire puzzle, right? You might be one puzzle piece away from becoming a profitable trader. It could have been from emotions. It could be that last piece of that risk management, or it could be holding these contracts a little bit longer, or cutting these contracts a little bit shorter, or just being a little bit too greedy, right? You might be one puzzle piece away from finishing your puzzle to become a profitable trader. If you just look at your vision and your plan when you're in the trade and think about it long term, you probably will not think of your short term emotional impact while you're in a trade, right? If I'm in a trade for NVIDIA and I'm like, all right, I'm still in puts, but it's coming up a little bit, I'm going to think about my future. I'm going to think about my plan. 225, that looks like a nice level. Let's see how this plays out, right? I'm not going to be emotional, be like, oh, I'm going to get out here. Like, I'm thinking too much of my short term, right? We never want to focus on the short term. We want to focus on the long term and sticking with the plan and sticking with just everything with your vision and your plan. Stop looking at your short-term emotional impact on the trade. Focus on the plan and the vision for your long-term, right? In the video, listen, a few dollars to the upside ain't going to scare me, right? My vision is 225. Will it get there? I don't know. But this is how we react, right? Are we going to react by a few buyers coming up? No. We're going to wait for it to hit our level. If our level hits, then we'll be out. But if our level doesn't hit, we're not going to be emotional to it coming up a little bit. And you got to learn from your losses, right? You will lose money. Does everyone understand you will lose money as trading? Like, you will lose money as a trader. You're not going to lose money. You're going to have to lose money as a trader. And you really got to understand that, because a lot of people do not understand that you will lose money as a trader. Everyone loses money as a trader. How many people agree with that? Do you guys lose money as traders? Everyone loses money as a trader. You have to understand that. That's not like you're not a loser or something like that, but you are going to lose money, right? But what does that mean to you, right? Me losing money versus you losing money. If I lose money, then I know I'm wrong in the trade, and I'm going to figure out why I was wrong in the trade. If you lose money, are you going to give up and just let that defy you, right? Everyone loses money, but it's what you do with that loss that will defy you and define your trading, right? If I lose, right, I'm not going to give up. Like, what is that? I'm going to learn from that. But if you lose, you're going to give up. You're going to fail. Like, you're just going to be done with trading. Do you not realize that as a trader, you're going to lose money? If you do not realize that, or you don't know that, then you probably should not be trading. Or, you might just be getting started. So, it's just what you do with when you lose money or just lose in general. Like, even outside of trading, let's say you lose that one girl, right? You thought that one girl that lived like 10 minutes away from you, like was your best friend, right? Was your soulmate. What are you going to do with that loss, right? Are you just going to let that defy you? Or are you going to move on and just face it, right? Are you just going to sit there and just be like, wow, I really lost her? Or are you just going to go ahead and face that, dude? You have to face it. Like, even outside of trading, like, this is why trading and just your personality and outside of trading relates so well, because it's the same thing, dude. Like, you lost that one girl that really cared about you, or you thought that cared about you. Who cares, dude? It's the same thing with trading. Who cares if you lost money? As long as you learn from that, right? The only person that really does care, though, is your future self, right? Your future self will not care that you got rejected from your dream girl today, or that you lost money today. Your future self will thank you for what you do with that loss or that rejection, and you're going to look back and you're going to be like, why on earth was I walking away, right, fearful? Or why was I scared that I was getting rejected or something like that? Or why did I not do that? or, something like that, right? It's all about when, like, I should have faced it, right? I should have kept at it and I should have faced it. Same thing with trading. Oh, I lost money. Now I'm going to leave. When your future self would have told you, you should have kept at it, right? You should have faced it. You should have kept going. That should not have stopped you, right? Because your future self is going to think the opposite, right? In the future, you might become a profitable trader, but your future self, if you leave, right? If you leave from that loss, or you leave from that rejection, or you can't face your fears or your emotions, your future self will look at you and be like, why on earth did you walk out? Why on earth did you not face it? You were so close, dude. So close, and you're just going to exit like that. So, again, just think about your future self. Are you really going to let that defy you, or are you going to keep going and not letting that stop you? Now, again, I know that's not related to really trading or anything like that, but your personality and actions outside of trading will impact how you trade. Like, it's just, the example that I told you guys earlier with the girl, like, it's just what you do outside of trading that will also impact how you trade. And, as a traders, some of the stuff you learn from trading, you might be able to use outside of trading, right? And it's all about a mental game here. Like, again, with what I said earlier, if I meet someone for the first time, I will probably know how they'll react when they're trading. Now, that doesn't define them as a trader or as a person overall, but, like, I will know if you're too emotional or if you just let fear get the best of you. So, again, if you are scared of losing, then I would say ultimately you're scared of being a winner, right? If you're scared of losing, you're probably scared of being a winner too, right? The fear will consume you and you will not become the best that you can be, right? If you let fear defy you, you can't become the best you could be because you let fear defy you. Don't let let me get an analogy here. Don't let the darkness consume you. Be the sun. You gotta become the sun. If you don't become the sun, then you're gonna become the darkness and no one will know who you are because you're not a profitable trader, right? You gotta become the sun. You gotta become the logical, mentally disciplined trader that you're supposed to be, right? And you gotta fight your emotions for the future, honestly. Like, if you don't fight your emotions now when you're in the trade, just think about this when you're in the trade, right? If you're in the trade, you gotta fight your emotions for the future. You gotta face your fears for the future, and you cannot change what happened in the past. Maybe you took a 60% loss. Maybe you dumped your account. Maybe you just didn't even know how to trade in the past, but don't let that defy your future, right? That was in the past. What happened in the past will stay in the past. What will happen in your future is what is up to you right now. What are you going to do right now that will help you as a future trader? What plan, what vision are you guys going to do that will help you in your future? If you say nothing, then your future will look like nothing. If you're saying, I'm going to work on my emotions, then your future will be defined by that, right? As day traders, I feel like we are the underdogs, right? And what are underdogs, right? Are you going to become a loser, right? Because underdogs, people associate underdogs with losers, right? They're like, oh, these guys, they're not going to come out winners. Or are we going to come out winners, dude? Are you going to keep going and refuse to give up? Will you let that take over your portfolio, or will you let your emotions take over, right? Are you going to take over your portfolio or your emotions? How many people let their emotions take over their portfolio, right? Is emotions taking over your portfolio, or is your mentality taking over your portfolio? Are you personally taking over your portfolio, or are you going to let emotions take over it, right? How many people let emotions take over their portfolio? And I feel like personally, your portfolio is a representation of yourself. Honestly, you show me your portfolio graph and I'll tell you exactly who you are as a person, right? Are you too emotional? Are you too fearful? Are you barely taking profits? Are you hesitating? I promise you right now, you show me a screenshot of your profit chart, it literally will it will be a representation of your personality, right? This is your discipline. That's your personality, right? What does your portfolio say about yourself? What you have to look at it. Honestly, you probably should be looking at your portfolio right now and be like, what does this portfolio say about me? What am I doing wrong? What on earth am I doing wrong? What does this portfolio? This literally, I would say this is your life card right there. That's your past right there. You hold up to your phone to your face. You're going to look at your portfolio chart. You're going to see that P&L, and that's defining you right now, right? This portfolio is defining me. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right, right? This is what you're going to have to live with until you figure out how to deal with your emotions, how to deal and just figure it out, how to face it, right? You look at your portfolio, say, this is not going to be who I am in 2 months. And then you're going to look at your chart and be like, listen. I know I'm an underdog, but this needs to change, right? I am not going to let this take over me, right? This is not going to let me become a non-profitable trader. This is not going to make me fail, right? We got to look at that and be like, what on earth am I doing wrong, right? Most of you guys have been in here way too long to still let your emotions take over your future. You know how hard some of you guys have been working for emotions just to take over your future, right? You have to get it together and you have to face your emotions, right? Stick to your plan. Your biggest enemy should become your best friend, I would say, right? So your biggest enemy when you're trading is emotions. Allow that to become your best friend, right? If you're able to control your emotions, you're able to do great things as a trader and even as a person, right? What you do with your trade, when you're in the trade, that will also defy you, right? If you're in the trade, honestly, I don't even care about a trade recap or anything like that. Oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. The trader that you are is a person that is in a position, and are you going to be hesitating? Are you going to be emotional, right? Let's say you're in NVIDIA calls right now, or you were in NVIDIA calls earlier, or you were in Tesla calls earlier, or you were in SPY calls. It doesn't matter what you should have done, would have done, could have done. It doesn't matter about that, right? It matters what you're doing right now when you're in that position. That defines you as a trader. It's not that, trade recap, I was a little bit emotional. It doesn't matter about that. It matters about what you're doing in that trade right now, because that whole plan could go to waste if you're not disciplined enough to keep at it, right? You could say, I can't let emotions define me. Price target 225, but then when you're in a position, you get out at 5% gains, right? It's all about controlling emotions and sticking to that plan, right? You got to stick to the plan, and that will defy you as a trader. Like, I cannot say this enough, and I hope to people that, you guys actually maybe rewatch this or something like that. But it's just about being confident too, honestly. Being confident is another big one, right? Dream big, start small. You know how many people that's starting off with 1 contract, 2 contracts, 3 contracts? You got to start small, but you got to think about your future. You got to dream big. I'm starting small, right? I'm starting with 1 contract, 2 contracts. But if I keep at my plan, dude, I'm going to have 50 contracts. Or I'm going to have 100 contracts in this trade. You got to think big, right? Dream big and then start small, right? There would never be a perfect trade, right? You might think this might have been a perfect trade. There will never be a perfect trade. But there will always be you behind the desk managing your own emotions, right? There is never a perfect trade. There will never be a perfect trade that just goes by your rules or goes by your stop loss or whatever like that, right? It's all about who is behind the desk, right? Who is behind the desk on TOS, Webull, whatever? Who is behind there and what are you doing, right? Are you sticking to your plan? Or are you letting emotions define you? And that's really what trading comes down to. I don't even care if you're listening to me right now while you're sleeping, right? If you're sleeping right now, or you're gonna listen to me when you're sleeping, I don't even care, right? You gotta grind for this, right? You gotta listen to me saying you gotta conquer your emotions, plan your trades, and discipline yourself. Listen, if you need me to just keep repeating that, and I'll just put it on a tape, and you guys can go to bed listening to that in your head every single night, just to discipline yourself so you could just dream about not being emotional when you're trading, you let me know, dude. I'll make that, right? But again, like you might hate holding, right? You might hate just taking a loss. You might hate whatever it is that's really holding you guys back. But honestly, right, you might also hate being a winner. If you hate taking a loss, if you hate emotions, or you hate holding the trade, or you're getting too impatient, you're going to also hate being a winner, because that's how you become a winner. So, like, for example, what is really the definition of discipline, right? Discipline itself is really telling yourself, I would say, let's see, discipline, I would say is, let's see, how would I put this into words? I feel like discipline is something that you hate, but you have to act like you love it, right? I would feel like discipline is telling yourself that whatever you hate, you love it, right? Dude, I don't know who likes taking losses, but discipline is going to be there to where we have to take the loss, and we have to love it in a sense, right? Discipline's literally like that, right? Discipline is basically whatever you hate, you have to love it. Sticking to your plan, exactly, right? I don't I don't know who likes taking losses, but you have to act like you love it. You got to stay focused and continue to do what you love, right? And you got to pretend like you love it. You know, you can't be like, oh, dude, I hate taking losses, I hate holding, or something like that. Discipline is literally acting like something that you hate. You have to act like you love it. And, you know, we all have emotions, right? Obviously, you know, being emotional in a trade, it depends, right? But you have to be disciplined, right? Discipline is literally telling yourself that whatever you don't like, you have to act like you love it. So when time comes, you're disciplined enough to execute your plan and your vision, right? Whatever your plan or vision was, no matter if you're stop, price target, whatever, it's all about that discipline, right? That discipline is what defines you. Now, again, you can have some discipline, right? You could take some losses here, take some wins there, but are you disciplined, right? Does everyone know the difference between being disciplined versus just having simple discipline? Because I could be disciplined. I could have some discipline in this trade, right? Taking the loss sometime, taking the profits, but am I disciplined overall? Am I going to slip up on this next trade? Am I going to slip up on this next trade, right? Am I going to slip on this trade? Or am I going to slip up on the next one after that, right? Being disciplined versus being, I would say, having discipline are two different things, right? Some people can have discipline sometimes, but the moment where you slip, you show that you're not disciplined as a trader. And I say there's a big difference there. And honestly, I would say being emotional and just taking profits are essentially the same thing. You know, the reason why people take profits so early is because they're emotional. The reason why people are taking profits too late, emotional. The reason why people are not getting out on their stop, because they're emotional. This is why I wanted most of this lesson to be about emotions, right? Now, some key things that I do that I will say will help you to gain more confidence and be less emotional is think of the opposite trader, right? Like, for example, sometimes I do think like that, right? If I'm thinking to myself, listen, I'm about to get out here on the video, think about the opposite trader. If you were thinking about getting calls, would you get calls right here? Probably not, right? If you're in puts on the video and you're thinking about getting out right here, how many people would enter calls right here? Let's just say right here, how many people would enter calls? And this is what I do personally. This is like sometimes what I think to myself if I'm thinking about getting out, right? How many people would get calls right there? Exactly. You wouldn't, right? I don't think any trader with that momentum, increased volume, that tape was probably going crazy, right? I don't think anyone would get calls there unless they're crazy. No way. So why am I going to just get fully out on my puts right there, right? That doesn't make sense. So sometimes I do think the opposite way. Sometimes I'm like, would I get calls here? If not, I'm going to hold this, right? There's no point of me getting out. And that will help with confidence, and that will help with just my mentality. Now, it might help me and it might not help you, but that's just something that it helps me, right? I think the opposite way sometimes. Like, would I get a call there? Would I get a put there? Right? The other thing you do is you literally just look at the reverse of NVIDIA. So if you just put a minus there, right? If you can't think the opposite way, you literally can just have a chart that shows you the opposite way, right? Would you get out there? If you were in calls, would you get out there? Probably not, right? Or would you get puts? Would you get puts right here? This obviously looks like it broke out. Would you get puts right there after it broke out? Probably not. So why would you just get out fully there, right? It would make no sense. Now, if you're playing one contract, that's different, but I'm just saying in general, right? If I was in calls right there, there is no way I'm going to get puts. Like there is not a chance in the world I'm going to get puts right here, right? So this is why this is one thing, right? I think the opposite way. Now, if you can't think the opposite way, just literally put a minus on your TOS chart and it will show you the opposite way. But I can think the opposite way though. Now, the other thing is, again, price action, right? Price action is key. If the price action is telling me, oh, this is holding up, right? We're on the 5 minute. That green candle should not scare you whatsoever, especially if you guys been in the Discord for more than 2 months. Remember that 50%. This is just people taking profits. Look how we came here, right? From 240, we're at 230. You don't think people are going to start to take some more profits here? And we barely retraced, right? We still have that 232. So now I'm going to put a stop at 232 on the 5 minute, right? And just see how it reacts on the 1 minute. Now, again, when I was in this trade, I saw that there wasn't really too much buyers present and the volume was slowing down a little bit. Make me hold this thing, right? There was nothing telling me this thing was coming up, right? There's a few buyers here, 3 candles, nothing crazy. And we already had some rejections coming up, right? And we just had this one full candle, but there's barely volume to support that. And I was looking at the tape, right? But if you look at the 5 minute, it just helps to alleviate all this noise because sometimes people are getting a little too scared looking at the 1 minute. This is why it's important to have the 5 minute up if you're emotional so you can see exactly what's going on, right? If you just look at this chart, you would clearly see this is just buyers. I mean, this is just people taking profits. There's like no buyers in this section, right? If you look at the 1 minute, you might have got faked out right there in that push and you saw it come right back down, right? Same thing with SPY. I bet SPY did the same thing. We're going here. Look at that, right? That probably faked out so many people. But if you just look at this 5 minute, you see it's just people taking profits. Coming right back down, right? Right back down. So, again, just I would say that's just something to think about. I would say if you're up a good amount, just think about people that are just getting in, right? People probably entered on that 434 break, right? But let's just say, actually, I'll use a better example. People probably got in on this break. Why am I going to get out of puts if people are just entering into puts, right? And there's a reason why people are entering into puts because it closed under that price level, right? It closed under that intraday level. So why am I going to get out of puts when people are just starting to enter? And that's another thing to help control emotion. This is just something I go through, right? Think about the opposite. Think about someone that just got in. Look at a different time frame. That 5 minutes holding up very well. I'm not going to get canceled out. That move is not going to be canceled out just from that 1 minute price action, right? Make sure you are looking at price action though. Like if you see the 5 minute is absolutely exploding, obviously that might be a time to get out or something like that. You know, looking at the tape, looking at the level 2. But that will also help you to not be greedy and that will help you to be emotionless. I think I covered pretty much everything that I did want to cover today. Now you guys can ask some questions. Because I am losing my voice. Let's see. It makes a ton of sense. I've been doing that recently. It really helps. It does. It really does. Exactly. You have to look at the market as a whole as well. You saw that NQ and SPY was coming down. You know, there's a... I mean, if the whole market's coming down and you're in puts, I would be safe to say that you're probably going in the right direction. Now, if the market's pulling up and you're in puts, I would say you better be on your toes. Let's see. If you guys asked a question earlier, I promise you I did not see that whatsoever because I don't see any questions right now. So, you gotta have to repost that. And then we got course week in like a week, dude. 1 week. Would you mind explaining how you use the 5 minute and 15 minute chart? It's basically just to cancel out noise. Like I just see how it's setting up. Like for example, that 5 minute, look how well that's set up, right? Versus the 1 minute. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get faked out by that because I knew it was people just taking profits. Look how we came down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 candles of red almost. I knew it was going to be people taking profits. Now I'm going to look at the 5 minute, how that's setting up. Not even 50% of that candle. Lender, this talk is making me want to call you after and screen share my TMS accounts. Yeah. Vegas, we do have to go over that. Can you show an example of drawing lines and levels from scratch? I am doing over that in the boot camp. Right now, I'm just answering questions, just like regular questions, because that's a whole topic I think we're going over on the boot camp, which is literally like 4 days, 5 days. Dude, I'm losing my voice now. Boot camp ready, yes sir. You think you're gonna talk about the tape? Nah, it's getting a little late. If we had more time, I would go over the tape. But I'm probably just gonna say that for boot camp. The 5 is amazing. I did get hit at the pullback at 310. Kept me from catching the bottom of SPY. I'm good with 9% today. Dude, 9% of your full port, that's awesome. Nate gonna rip his hair out soon with my questions. Bootcamp ready. I asked if you set stops by risk. Like, if you think there is a higher risk, you set a 5% stop, whereas if you have faith in your trade. No, I pretty much, I would say I have the same confidence per trade. Sometimes it's only, I wouldn't say it's because of my belief of what I think the trade is. It's more of, where is the trend reverse? If it reverses at 15%, reverses at 10%, reverses at 5%, I wouldn't say it's whatever I think is going to do. Like, it's not where I more risk or something like that. Like, I know a lot of traders, or actually, I really don't know a lot of traders that are like, oh, this is more riskier, this and that. Like, no real traders do that. I've never seen a real trader do that. This is more riskier than this. Why on earth would you take that then? Best day I've ever had. Today's your best day? Let's go, dude. Level 2 will show you, dude, I'm gonna post it on like my bulletin or something, like in the announcements channel, just like people that had their best day. Like, we're just gonna have a list, people's best day, and do like that. Level 2, thank you, no problems though. Hey Lander, how do you determine price target? Price target, that was my previous level on the video the other day. So I determined that as my price target, as well as SPY. That was my previous strong support from before. But like for my watch list, if you go for my watch list is basically how it reacted before, except, so for example, let's say I had a level on the video above 235, and let's say it went to 244 last time. I'll probably do it at like 240-ish, just to be a little bit more safer with it. But like, I usually go by what happened previously. Bootcamp, yeah, bootcamp is next week. Better at not chasing. Yeah, that can also hurt. I know a lot of people that were chasing. Like, someone asked me, should I get in the video? I told them no, because they're chasing. I mean, how would I know it's going to go to 150%? But like, I just don't want people to get in the habit of chasing. Dude, they're probably mad, dude. Because I was only up like 40%, and they're like, should I get in the video? I was like, nah. It's probably done here. So I just don't want people to get in the habit of doing it. There will be people that do that. Oh yeah. Sometimes psychological level. Someone literally DM'd me today. I don't know if y'all are in here or not, but they DM'd me. They're like, I got in the video with you. I'm like, my goodness. I asked him why he got in the video. He was like, because of you. I'm like, bro, this is not what I'm trying to like. You have to get in because there should be a reason, not because I'm just getting in. Like, but I mean, he made money. I think he made like 70% or something like that, which is awesome. I think he posted in profits. If you're in here and you didn't post it in profits, it's alright. It's so cool. Let's see. If I didn't answer your question, it's probably because I didn't see it, so you're gonna have to repost it. Yeah, bootcamp is next week, February 1st, which is in like a week. February 1st, right? Hold on, let me see. Let me make sure. It's the first full week of February. Yeah. Coming up. Today's Wednesday, dude. That's crazy. Lessons be at 8. I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think all our boot camp is going to be at 8. It's going to be a long week. Long week next week. Yeah, probably like an hour and a half. Yeah, it is going to be recorded. It is going to be recorded. Don't worry. Yeah, I can't wait either. It's gonna be a long week, dude. It's gonna be insane. starting off small Monday, Tuesday, and then it like progressively gets more advanced.